And Governor, Ms. Driscoll.
Thank you for the warm introduction and for so many of you for joining us here today. It's a really special day. I'm grateful to be here with you, and I know Secretary Tutwiler is on his way. He's charging down the Mass Pike right now. This is a really special day for us in terms of the work that we're doing to support education. You know this, Massachusetts is #1 for education, #1 public schools in the country. That doesn't, yeah, hooray. And we're on a mission to be #1 in early literacy as well, and that happens because of partnerships like this, the opportunity for the state to support what's happening at the local level, supporting school districts in a meaningful way, and that's what today is really all about. And I can't think of a better place to invest state resources than in early literacy. We know what early literacy investments can do to change the trajectory of a child's life. We know how important it is to learn to read. And these programs are designed to help ensure we're thinking about how we can best support local officials in that work. Local officials, educators, principals, superintendents. As someone who comes from local government, I know the value of investing these dollars. It's really hard to find the resources to put in place a new curriculum program, and these efforts are really designed to be of major assistance. Last year, we started Literacy Launch, and the whole goal was just like, let's be a state that has the tools where everyone can learn to read and learn to read in a critical way by that third grade level. We think this is a critical program for ensuring that every student in Massachusetts has that opportunity to reach their full potential. So programs like this one, along with our high dosage tutoring, are really designed to do that. And so I'm thrilled to be here in East Hampton to announce that the state's second round of Partnership for Reading Success, we call them PRISM grants, totaling $9.3 million, will be awarded to 29 school districts and 1 educational collaborative for a great second round of educational support for early literacy efforts. And we wouldn't come to East Hampton unless we had some resources for the local district, and so we're pleased that East Hampton will be receiving a $274,000 grant to help them with support for this program. And yay! And I'll just say, this is only one part of a true multi-year effort to make sure Massachusetts schools, educators, school districts have high-quality, evidence-based reading instruction tools. That, we know, is a difference maker. And we think about ways that we're trying to support early literacy. We're not just throwing things up against the wall and seeing what stick. We are investing in things that we know work, research-based programs. So Literacy Launch is one of those. We're also advancing high-dosage tutoring. Again, research-proven strategies. We know what happens when students, particularly our youngest learners, have access to high-dosage tutoring. We are advancing this commitment with the goal of improving literacy for all. And I can't think of a better investment for state government to make in our littlest learners and supporting our school districts and local communities. We think this will lead to not only stronger readers who will become stronger leaders, but also the type of critical thinking that we all benefit from when you start school with successful opportunities that these programs will help generate. And by investing in this next generation today, we know we're going to be supporting communities' leaders for the future. I think it's the most important work we do in local government, educating the next generation of individuals who will be serving in our seats. So we're looking forward to these programs rolling out. And the beauty of this, I think, from the perspective of both DESE and the Commonwealth, is there's a great opportunity to learn from each other. There's a cohort of districts that'll be working together, whether it's on the professional development, the strategies, the scheduling. How do you make all those things work so you have that ecosystem running in all cylinders? So we want to inspire a love of reading and learning, and it starts here in Massachusetts with early literacy. I'm really thrilled to be able to invite up our local superintendent. I mean, your first year here and you're already garnering grants, so take it away.
Thank you so much. Our Mayor, Salem Derby, would have loved to have been here, but had a prior commitment, but wanted to let everybody know how grateful and appreciative he is that we received this grant. My name is Michelle Balch. I'm the superintendent of East Hampton Public Schools. And I just wanted to share a little bit about this grant, this PRISM grant, and what it means for East Hampton. This grant isn't just about us purchasing materials, it's about giving our teachers support, resources, coaching, and what they need in order to make literacy come alive for our students. Our goal is that every child sees themselves in the curriculum, in the materials, in a very meaningful and authentic way. We're committed to teaching in ways that are evidence-based, culturally responsive, and grounded in equity. Most importantly, this grant gives us a chance to provide curriculum that inspires and empowers our students, helping them imagine the new possibilities for their future. PRISM 2 isn't just about reading, it's about opening doors. With this funding, our students are exposed to cutting-edge curriculum and texts to enhance their lives. We are so excited to launch into our future, and I'm going to turn it over to Julianne Levin, our Curriculum and Grants Director. Thank you so much.
Hello, I have a helper today. This is Willow, and she will be one of our littlest literacy learners this year in our preschool. For the last 9 years, I've had the pleasure to work with Jody Alatalo, who will be speaking for a little bit right after me. And she has taught me everything that I know now about early literacy. I came in as a middle school and high school literacy educator, and I knew that there was a magic that was happening before the kids came to me, and I was not clear what that magic was. And what Jody has taught me is it is magic with a lot of scientific research behind it. So she is going to come up here and let you know all about that. This is my very dear friend and one of the most exemplary educators I've ever met, Jody Alatalo.
Oh my goodness. I hope I don't cry. That was really sweet, Julian. So I am Jody Alatalo. I am the elementary literacy coordinator. I am a 21-year veteran teacher. I have been in this district for nearly 20 years, and some of the adults in this room were my students, believe it or not. Let me begin by saying good afternoon to the Lieutenant Governor for being here, to the members of our school committee, to Superintendent Balch, to our district leaders, our community-based literacy partners at the East Hampton Library. Thank you so much for having us in your space, and our beloved families from the Mountain View School community. So I thank you for being here today. It is truly an honor to be in celebration of early literacy for all children in East Hampton. First and foremost, I would like to extend many, many thank yous to the individuals who have been and continue to be part of our literacy work at Mountain View School. Our head of school, Dr. Jill Pasquini-Torchia, our elementary administrators, Judy Averill, Andrea McCollum, and Heather Dean. I want to thank you all for listening and learning during our instructional leadership meetings and allowing me to take up most of our meeting time with lots and lots of information about literacy practices. And to our incredible team of pilot teachers at Mountain View School. These are the teachers who implemented our curriculums this past year in service of selecting a high-quality program for our students. And those teachers are Jessica Seco, who's in our kindergarten. She's on maternity leave. She just had a daughter. Emily Brida in our grade 1 team. Beth Hodgman and Amy Gauger in our grade 2 team. Trish Wilson and Jessie Clark in our grade 3 team. Rachel Breton in our grade 4 team, Ryan Copeland and Mary Frankie in our grade 5 team. You truly are literacy leaders. And your grade level teams are incredibly lucky to have you as model learners as we take this next step in our professional learning in East Hampton. And last but certainly not least, an enormous thank you to our Director of Curriculum, Julianne Levin, who was my co-author of the PRISM grant applications. Julianne, thank you so much for your unwavering commitment to evidence-based literacy instruction for all students in East Hampton Public Schools. Thank you for being my trusted partner in this work. To say I'm excited, yeah, go ahead and clap. To say I'm excited for our students and educators in East Hampton is an understatement. The PRISM grants, we were awarded 2, by the way, made possible by our state-level partners, will provide our educators pre-K to 5 with high-quality instructional materials and training to implement the core knowledge language arts curriculum in all classrooms at Mountain View School. We are tremendously grateful for this opportunity to implement CKLA, 3rd edition, hot off the press, which is the best thing, this academic year. This is only made possible by the hard work of an amazing team of teachers who engaged in this year-long process to select this literacy curriculum. In June of 2024, the pilot team began the process of reviewing highly rated literacy programs to update our current core instructional program. The team analyzed the current core in 2 highly rated options through the lens of the simple view of reading, which is a foundational model we use in reading instruction, supported by reading research. The simple view is the seminal work of cognitive scientists Philip Goff and William Tunmer. It's a theoretical model that simplifies the very complex process of learning to read into 2 main components: language comprehension, the ability to understand spoken language, and word recognition, the ability to read words automatically and effortlessly. Together, these 2 components produce skilled reading. Skilled reading, or comprehension, means understanding text. This is not accessible without strengthening both the language comprehension and the word recognition parts. Our pilot team sought out a program that would engage children in purposeful talk and active listening to build vocabulary and knowledge in service of strengthening language comprehension and written expression. And equally important was the pursuit of a program that provides children with the foundational skills needed for automatic word reading and spelling through direct, explicit, systematic, and sequential instruction. We were looking for a singular, cohesive literacy curriculum to prepare our students to become skilled readers, skilled writers, active listeners, and articulate speakers. Through the pilot process and ultimately our selection of core knowledge, we leaned into the many resources from the Mass Curate and asked and answered these questions. Does our choice for high-quality instructional materials provide a strong foundation for all students, particularly students from historically underserved groups and communities? Will all students have access to grade-appropriate content and practices that enable them to excel at grade level and beyond? And will this program support teachers to cultivate deeper learning for students through learning that is real-world, relevant, and by way of interactive and evidence-based practices that are inclusive and culturally and linguistically sustaining? We believe the answer to be yes. And if I may, I'd like to end with a story, or 2 if possible. So I've been a teacher for 21 years. It may be a surprise for you to know that I did not engage in a whole lot of reading as a child. I didn't grow up in a house full of books, as you might imagine, and my parents were not readers. In fact, I don't think I ever saw either of my parents pick up a book and read for pleasure. Not once. We didn't visit the local library, and we didn't have many children's books for me to read. However, literacy practices were alive and well in our little cottage on the Connecticut River that we called home. Every Sunday morning, my mom and dad and my aunts and uncles gathered around our wooden kitchen table. There were cups of coffee, a great deal of loud, boisterous storytelling, and a whole lot of laughter. In my house, there was a great deal of kitchen table talk. This type of talk is what we call, in the literacy world, purposeful. The audience was family, and the purpose can best be described as the expression of love and deep connection. And when I was in 5th grade, Mrs. Stevens read us the story A Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Patterson. And that changed everything for me. She gave us each a copy of the text to follow along. I thought that was just incredible, and Mrs. Stevens knew exactly what she was doing. And if you've not read A Bridge to Terabithia, it's a story about friendship and loss. In the story, a boy named Jess and a girl named Leslie discover a special place in the woods they call Terabithia. It's a secret sanctuary just for the two of them. Well, I soon discovered my own Terabithia, right near my childhood home. It happened to be just a short walk from my bus stop, down the dirt road where I lived, under the barbed wire fence, past the apple tree, a short walk across the pasture, and down to the stream bed of Dry Brook. This secret special place was just for me. I would go there by myself and imagine Mrs. Stevens' read aloud transformed me. Not only did that story provide me with the connection to home, but it opened my eyes to the infinite possibilities within the pages of a book. I share these personal stories because I believe that we, as educators, have a responsibility to be a bridge for our students, to honor and celebrate their diverse home literacy experiences, and to create the conditions in our classrooms where active engagement leads to transformative learning experiences. It is my hope and dream that the students in East Hampton feel honored and celebrated for who they are and where they come from, and for each child to have the opportunity to be transformed by their literacy learning at Mountain View School. Thank you.
All right, we have a couple teachers here who, did they disappear? No. Oh, there you are. Okay. We have a couple teachers here who are part of our pilot program. We're just going to ask one or maybe more than one to share a few words. I wanted to invite up Mary Frankie, who's also a parent of students at Mountain View School. And so she is witnessing this change from both the parent side as well as the instructor side. So I wanted to have her just share a couple words about our gratitude.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Not only am I super nervous, but I'm very excited for this opportunity. Like Jody and Julianne said, I was part of the pilot team, which I don't actually know how many people were on that pilot team. How many? Nine, including me, 9 of us. And it was an extraordinary group of teachers that I felt really honored to be among. There was always deep conversations that we had with literacy, which excited me. And after having taught for 17 years, sometimes entering that classroom can feel a little daunting at times. And I actually said to Jody sometime, I was stricken with pneumonia for 2 months in the winter. So coming back and jumping into teaching a whole new curriculum felt like my first year of teaching all over again. And I have to say, CKLA was something that sparked something in me that I hadn't felt probably in like 15 years of teaching. And that was excitement in teaching kids to read. And that can feel really daunting when you stare at sometimes a classroom full of 20 kids at all different levels thinking, goodness, my job is to make sure in 180 days, which yes, day 1 seems like a long time, it's not. And this was something I saw in my own class, in my own students. We actually, in 5th grade, we read Don Quixote. Yes, audible gasp, I was hoping for that. And it was the most fun I had ever had in a classroom. I actually had a student who, in March, had a group of chicks, and she started naming all the chickens characters after Don Quixote. And she ended up naming, I believe, one of like the alpha chick, I don't know the verbiage there, Sancha, because she felt like, or Sancho, that was the idealistic chick because it made all the right decisions. So talk about text to self, right? I couldn't have asked for a better outcome, but I just want to thank you all for the support that you give this community. I'm a teacher, I'm a parent, so I have the trifecta here. I'm also a resident, so it means a lot to see and to feel excited going into this school year. So thank you very much. Thank you for all of you for all the work that you put in. And I would just want to shout out to Tricia and Jesse who are here with us. So thanks, guys. But thank you, everyone. That's it.
On behalf of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, we are so thrilled that you all are a recipient of our grant, and we are excited to see the great work that comes from the generation of talent that you are investing in. We know that leaders are readers, and we're so grateful our Lieutenant Governor has already led the way with this investment from the state. Our champion of education from the state of Massachusetts is Secretary Tutwiler, and he is he's a coach, he's a champion, a former athlete, so he is going to bring sports energy to us today. Let's give him a round of applause.
All right, how we doing? Yeah, feeling good? All right, great, me too. Let me tell you, there are a few things worse than really wanting to get somewhere and celebrate something. Do you all know what happened to me? Oh, people are laughing like they already know it. I got hung up in traffic, and so I was 15 minutes late. I apologize, but I'm glad that things moved on. And I was so excited to get here, and I'm happy to be here now because this is a celebration. Really heartened by the stories that I've heard thus far from the teachers who are engaging in this important work. We all know that early literacy has been a challenge, not just in Massachusetts, but really nationally. But what I really love about the Commonwealth, what I really love about us, is that we confront challenges head on. We don't hide from them in Massachusetts, and that's what we're here to celebrate today. We have the research backing, the settled science around knowing what works in early literacy, and we have the partnerships to move this forward in a really progressive way, and I am excited about that. The Healey-Driscoll administration proposed literacy launch to permanently transform early literacy instruction in Massachusetts, reading from age 3 to grade 3. This is about giving schools and educators the tools and resources that we know work, including professional development and coaching, high-quality evidence-based materials, and systems of support. The research has been clear, and it's been clear for a long time, my friends. The most critical years for reading instruction are from age 3 through grade 3. We know that's when, and we've already heard this afternoon, that's when students really get anchored in the skill of reading, vocabulary development, reading comprehension. We also know that during that period of time, if a student is not meeting the appropriate benchmarks and interventions aren't provided for that individual student, it is much harder to get them back on track after grade 4. That's why we are laser focused on these early years, and we're trying to get this right because we have to. It is that important. And I know that right here in East Hampton, you have the leadership dedicated to improving early literacy. I know LG has already announced this. So grateful that here we are celebrating this announcement, $9.3 million, impacting not just East Hampton, but 29 additional districts across the Commonwealth. This is a significant down payment on our students and their future, as well as the future competitiveness of our state. Last week on Monday, really felt honored to be in Mansfield with 300 educators representing 84 school districts across the Commonwealth for the very first Literacy Launch Institute. This was 4 days wherein that 300 educators, dedicated educators, volunteered their own time to learn and improve and hone their early literacy instruction skills. I was deeply inspired by their commitment and passion, and I'm excited to tell you that there's another Literacy Launch Institute that launched just today with another 300 educators from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Appreciate that. Now, I mentioned this to you because it is awesome, but also quickly, if you do the math, as I did on the calculator before I came in here, 600 educators, if you think conservatively about 20 students per educator, that's 12,000 students impacted by this important professional development, which is also supported by coaching. We know that it's important to provide the evidence-based curriculum materials, but we also know that it's important to invest in our educators, and that's what that Literacy Launch Institute is all about. We are prioritizing early literacy for the simple but profound reality that doing so has a marked benefit on their educational career, for sure, but we believe that literacy is a foundational marker that impacts a student's life. We've got to get this right. We are doing this with all sincerity, and we know that if we continue along this track, we can permanently improve how students learn to read for years to come. Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here to join you in this celebration. And because I'm late, I don't know who I'm introducing next. We're going. Am I the last person? Okay. Literacy launch on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Come on up for a photo. Yeah.
I think we're going to open it up if there's any Q&A from media who's here on topic on this. If not, we're going to take a photo. Sure.
Yeah, so just with this focus on early literacy, I kind of wanted to approach it from the angle of what is the drive for the state to do this when Massachusetts is generally at the top of the charts nationally for literacy? What is the impetus to double down on this when it's something that the state already is doing relatively well compared to?
Yeah, we celebrate every day the fact that Massachusetts has the best public schools in the country, and I credit the educators for that reality. But we also know that data tells us, our internal data, the MCAS tells us, a really troubling story around how students are accessing and improving as it relates to literacy. Right now, less than half of Massachusetts third graders are reading proficiently. That's a problem for us. And so Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, dropped an anchor on this important issue. It said, that's got to change. That is not acceptable to us. Governor Healey's been really clear. We want all students reading proficiently by third grade, and that's what this effort is all about.
I'll just add one additional point of information. When you know better, you do better. And we now know that evidence-based literacy curriculum helps more of our youngest learners reach literacy goals that are important to the Commonwealth and for themselves in terms of outcomes. So today we're announcing that 29 communities, I should also point out, given that we're in East Hampton and I started my day in Greenfield, of the communities being awarded these really important grants, 5 of them are in Western Mass, both East, where we are right now, East Hampton, Greenfield. I was in Pittsfield last week. They're in that mix as well. But if you look at the 29 communities, it's urban centers, it's rural communities, it's subdivisions. The idea is we want everybody on this trajectory of using science-based, evidence-based reading curriculum in our schools to help get where we need to be. And that's every third grader reading on track as soon as we possibly can get there. Any other questions? All right, let's take a photo, everyone. Thank you.